Busuanga. 100% nature diving stay in Busuanga and Palawan, the most beautiful diving destination in the Philippines. The island of Palawan in the Philippines is a sublime wild corner at the end of the world. For scuba diving, professionals agree, Busuanga Island, north of Palawan, is the most beautiful and wildest destination in the country. The one where you can practice the most beautiful dives, of a wide variety. Reefs, diving in a lake with a landscape and, of course, wreck diving. Because Busuanga is, above all, the second site in the world for wrecks from the Second World War. Lovers of dream landscapes, history and exotic dives, this diving trip in Asia is the one you are looking for. Details of the stay: luxury resorts, ideally located for diving. Your diving stay in the Philippines on Busuanga, comfort, service, and top diving luxury resorts, ideally located for diving, voyages. Adikua history buffs know that the Philippines, and more particularly northern Palawan, in Busuanga, was the scene of major naval battles during World War II. Witness the dozens of wrecks lying near the town of Coron. In addition to this fascinating historical dimension, which divers of all levels will appreciate, the Philippines has a number of essential assets: postcard landscapes, charming hotels built in local materials, bordered by lush vegetation and white sandy beaches. The omnipresent sea has an infinity of lovely coral reefs where pretty multicolored fish proliferate. This stay allows you to combine all these attractions. A comfortable resort, ideally located in Coron, from which you never miss any essential diving. Everything while benefiting from a high-quality service. Then, a stay on the private island of Dimakia allows to add a touch of luxury to your vacation in the Philippines. The white sand beach is superb, and it is on foot that you immerse yourself in the house reef. Unless you prefer to go by boat on the mythical Apo Reef. Your dives, wrecks, Barracuda Lake and vertiginous drop-offs of Apo Reef, the most varied diving program that can be organized in the Philippines. Your dives, wrecks, Barracuda Lake and vertiginous drop-offs of Apo Reef. Voyages Adikua. If you are eager for new experiences, this diving trip to the north of Palawan in the Philippines is for you. In the first part of the tour, discover Coron, in the south of the island of Busuanga. There lie dozens of World War II wrecks in a ghostly setting. Fascinating for the atmosphere. Fascinating for history buffs, these ships also delight photographers. Best of all, diving in Barracuda Lake. This spot has a halocline, layers of fresh and salt water, which creates breathtaking visual sensations. The second part of your stay takes you to the paradisiacal island of Dimakia, where the dugongs graze peacefully. A boat trip is required to reach the mythical Apo Reef. This uninhabited site, jealously protected by the rangers of the national park, is among the most beautiful reefs in the country. The visibility there is extraordinary, the corals magnificent, along vertiginous drop-offs, rare elsewhere in the Philippines. We meet sharks in small groups, turtles, rays and many other surprises such as mantas, for example. For lunch, we set foot on the island of the Rangers. White sand, turquoise water and a languid nap are on the program. Your program between Palawan, Coron and Busuanga in the Philippines: 7 days and 6 nights to discover the mythical wrecks of the Second World War. Your program between Palawan, Coron and Busuanga in the Philippines. Adikua voyages. Your program starts in Busuanga. You will therefore have taken care beforehand to go to Manila, then to take a domestic flight to this destination. Once there, a local agent welcomes you and transfers you to your resort, located about 40 minutes away in the typical village of Coron Town south of Busuanga. The rest of the day is devoted to rest and idleness, or discovery. For the next 2 days, enjoy a 4-dive package around Coron. An immersion is also planned in Lake Barracuda. You then travel to the north of Busuanga by boat, to reach the paradisiacal private island of Dimakia. Here again, a package of 4 dives awaits you. To enjoy the dugongs or even spin as far as Apo Reef, a reef lost in the open sea of Sulu. On the 7th day, it is, alas, time to go back to the cradle. You are transferred to Busuanga Airport, where you will board a flight to Manila. Your Adikua dive trip expert in the Philippines, Olivier. Your expert local agent for diving trips in the Philippines, initiated to diving during an internship within an underwater works company in Corsica. Olivier went to the Philippines at a very young age to improve his knowledge of the aquatic flora and fauna of the archipelago. Hundreds of dives later, this macro enthusiast will be able to advise you on the 7,107 islands of the Philippines so that you can find the diving trip that will best meet your expectations. Diving on coral reefs. Diving in a lake with lunar landscapes, or diving on the wrecks of the Calamians archipelago, which make the Philippines the second largest site in terms of World War II wrecks. Olivier was selected by the top expert dive trip Adikua. Olivier, your local Adikua dive trip expert based in the Philippines. I have lived in the Philippines for over 25 years. And my expertise in this country does not stop at diving. I will advise you to spend a holiday in the Philippines. Philippines in perfect harmony with your desires and your budget. Quote.